G'day guys, welcome back to Supercoach Swordplay. Now, I don't know how you're feeling, but it's Friday afternoon and I've still got no idea what to do with my trades. Now, it was going to be so easy for me this week, but all of a sudden, we had the carnage, the news that came through that TDK would be missing for this week. Now, some of us may say it's only the week, and to be honest, I was planning on holding this man. I was a strong advocate just to hold. We've got that flex position. That's partly why it was brought into the game for issues like this. However, I've now changed my way of thinking, and there's one major reason behind this. And when I say I've changed my thinking, I'm really not too sure still which way I'm going to lean, but excuse me, at the moment it's pretty much cash versus season glory and season reputation. What I mean by this is the fact that I was just catching up with some of Abs's content, the squad father, the great man. Shout out to you, mate. Much love. And I didn't even realise, but I'm now in the semi-final. So there's 4 teams left in it. 512 started in the big knockout cash tournament. And I'm down to the final 4. I'm guaranteed $300 this week, which is absolutely fantastic. But if I win this week and get myself into the grand final, the runner-up is $1,000 and the overall winner is $1,700. So potentially $1,700 on the line this week. Now, I was prepared to take the hit. I was prepared to say, look, it's going to be a bit of a tougher week. It could be a sit behind the couch week for those that have gone in particular over a nothing, not a donut, because I'm still fielding 22, but I don't get to drop out that low score, and I obviously don't have the great man. But with this cash on the line, look, it could be a little family holiday if I go all the way, and I think that I owe that probably to the family, because I do spend a lot of time making content and all the rest. So even though this could be a real detriment to my season, I think that I'm actually going to look to trade him out. I don't want to, and I still might not, but we're going to look at a few different options that I have. Now, for those people that have TDK, and I know that it's a lot of the community, let's quickly look at some options before I get a little bit selfish and just go through what I need to do. So the big question mark is Max gone? It's 735,000 potentially coming up against Darcy Fort this week if the Big O is laid out. Even if it's against the Big O, he's struggling at the moment, week-to-week proposition just to get up with a mystery injury. So that doesn't mean good things, does it? For us non-Max Gorn owners. Either way, he's got a great matchup this week. And regardless of who Max is playing, he's probably going to score well. They are projecting him to go, I think, a 109 this week, and then every other score apart from that is a 140 plus. This is according to Supercoach Gold. Surely not. If this bloke has one poor game, so close to, and I'm not talking this week because he's still got those 2 huge games in his system, but after this week, if he has a poor one, then surely that price is going to absolutely plummet. He can't be scoring 180s and 200s. At the moment, it feels like he can, but history suggests that not even the Gary Ablett in his prime can do this. So he's got to come back down. But the question is, how low is he going to go? Is it 650k? If so, do you just pay up that 85k now so you're not too far behind the pack with those Gorn owners? Because I was looking at my opponent's team. He's ranked inside the top 200, and it is so similar, it's not funny. It really is. And with Gorn in his side and not in my side, that's been the difference. That has been the difference. So getting him in this week would mean less headaches, locking in someone that is a must-have, but it's a detriment to the rest of my side and upgrade cadence moving forward, paying up this much. It's so tough. Sherry, at the same time, is getting close to 700k and will be there, I think, by the end of this week. But you're saving, 54k? I would be so much more comfortable going Sherry. I'll just lock this trade in. TDK to Sherry. 50 extra K for Gorn, I just don't know. Cameron for me isn't an option. Neither is English, neither is Meek. Grundy I'm not looking at, so I should go by average here. A Dogger, well, if Shrek was out for a prolonged period, yes, I actually would look at that. I'm not looking at English. Meek's already played, obviously. Wits, no. Grundy, this is the other play, but going early on Vicentini at 250k. Damn, he scored 98 last week, I understand that, but Jed Buse scored 95 last week as well, and these things are far from locked to happen week upon week. So I hate the idea of going early, but if he had 2 games under him and he was definitely going up a name this week, it'd be a different story. The Nank, no, I'm not going there. Oh, he's the same price as Rowan, isn't he? Playing Sherry this week. This is probably the 1 week play for me that I do have to consider. Now, I hate it, but if it's a 1 week play just to get me guaranteed $1,000 in this Cash League Grand Final and get to the Grand Final, is it worth just doing it to stuff up the season a little bit, and the structure and all the rest, waste another trade most likely? It's a matchup this week, isn't it? It's Rowan Marshall, and he's playing West Coast. Now, I was looking at some previous scores against West Coast. Meek, the 160. You obviously look at what Gawn's done to him. But other rucks that aren't your absolute fantastic types, they've still dominated as well. I think this could be a really big score from Rowan. The issue is, when you look at what he does after West Coast, it is literally the 2 toughest matchups. Well, arguably, so throw Sherry in there, but Gold Coast and Melbourne. Wits and Max Gawn. I really, really don't like that. And then after that, he's got English, and he really did not score well this year against English, 65, and then the score before that last year was terrible as well, one of his lowest scores, if not lowest for the year. So this matchup here, I really don't like too much, but this is just the classic 1 week play. Look, I'm making 40-50k on DeConning to Marshall, and he's coming up against West Coast. So this is purely a 1 week play, but I don't like the move going forward. And the other play that you could look at, the only other play in my opinion, is Todd Goldstein. Close to 400k, 115 last week. The old warhorse. Can he make 100k? 97.62, that was against Sherry though, and then 115. Remember, here he wasn't really overly preparing, I don't think, to realistically play. Maybe it was a little bit after the injury before that, but the matchup, English, that's all good. Nank is a really nice matchup. Yeah, don't know here. Okay-ish, good, potentially good, tough, good. You're probably not holding him for this long though, are you? That's the trouble. So it's so tough at the moment. I really wanted to simply hold this man. That was going to be the easy thing to do. The only trade I was going to look to make this week, to be completely honest, and I think this one's still locked in, is Riley Bice. He's got 102 break even. Look, he can probably do that, and he could reset it, but I think it's probably just time to go. And the obvious one here for me is going to be Jack Sinclair. You could go Nazaya. Now, he's only 20 odd K more expensive. I almost like him more. Ash, you don't really go there. You could go your Jordan Clark, who's that cheaper option. You could go someone like your Max Holmes, but I just want to lock in someone who I genuinely believe can be that top 3 to 4 for average. So this is pretty much locked in, 67k. The other thing I was going to look to do was bring in Sard as well. Who do you get out? Well, both these blokes are going to play this week. Hopefully O'Connell will. Carroll has been named as well, and I assume will. Clay Hall is on that extended bench. We'll find out soon. Lindsay, no, can't do that. Probably not the box. We don't know what's going to happen there, but he's made nothing, so I'm not doing that. Daniel is someone you can consider, but I'm actually a fan of holding Daniel, particularly against Richmond. I'm going to ride this pick out for as long as I can, I think. And that was the idea behind holding TDK as well. Just want to upgrade around these guys, as risky as it is, and I'm sure they'll lose a bit of coin. Cleary's a bloke that I could with Mills coming back, but he's been named on field, and usually after a bad score or a poor score, he does back that up. That's what the pattern is, so keen to hold him. And Kako's an interesting one because he's got a little bit of money on his head, not much. It'd be Essendon for Essendon, but at the same time, what he offers that none of Huswaite, Box, or your Hall offer is job security. And do I need to just preference job security going into the buys? Because at the end of the day, a 50-odd, a 40-odd over a 0 is still 40-50 on your total score. So I'll sort of change my way of thinking in a way with Kako. And then you got Dunks there sitting in the flex at the moment. So, yeah, I would probably look to hold off that move for now. So it really is TDK, and in the one trade you can't get Max Gorn. I'm pretty sure as well, even if I was to get Kako out and just go with it with that last boost and bring in, I'll just use some DPP and just bring in Sud. What have I got? Don't even have enough. So it would have to be, instead of Kako, so instead of Kako, would Cleary, would I have enough money? I still wouldn't have enough money with Cleary either. How far off am I? It's 7:35, isn't it? Yeah, so I'm 6k off doing that. It'd almost be worth doing that, wouldn't it? Bice, TDK, and Cleary out for Sinclair, Sard, Max, 6k off. I'd almost send it and do that. I would almost send it. $227k banked for next week. That's an easy upgrade. Say Levi for 1 or 2, which I don't, to someone. Lindsay to someone you could do. Find some value out there. Yeah, how much of a must-have is Sud? You know, you've got Simpson next week. If he's named sub this week, what do you do? I don't know if Sud will be named sub. I'm keen to hold on to Cleary in a way, but then he probably still has to go soon, doesn't he? Is that the move there? Just your Bice and TDK to Sinclair and Rowan. Now, this is a one-week play. I don't advise getting Rowan in to anyone else. I think this is, to be honest, almost the worst play that you could do in your rucks this week. It really is. But remember, it's all about the cash for me this week. I'm in a very, very unique situation. A very unique situation. But what that would do for me for the week would allow me to drop off a low score and get Rowan in against West Coast. It would also allow me to bring Sinclair in over someone like a Bice. I think Sinclair's almost a must-have on your side, and I've been keen on him for a few weeks, and it's always been the plan to get him in. So I think for this one-week play, getting both of these St Kilda boys in, who also have a good buy, it would be 4 on that buy for me. I'd have Brayshaw along with McRae, so 4 on the buy for round 13, which I can deal with. I think as a one-week play against West Coast, this could be the move to try to get me some coin. If I really wanted to full send it for the cash, I could get rid of the mini helmet and get your Petrucca in. That would be full sending it, wouldn't it? What could I do in the midfield? Liver. Tom Green's got a really nice run home for inside mids. Do I full send it to try to get into the granny? But Daniel against Richmond. Oh, I need to just balance this out between not trying to screw with my strategy in my season and also trying to have a crack at winning at the same time. I know my opponent's got Gorn. I'll tell you what, I'll send this one through to the boys. I'll get the snipper out and send this through to the group chat to see what the lads think. I think it might be just this. If anything, do I just hold TDK and not go for the cash and the glory and just keep my season going and pray for a miracle? I'm also in a few cash leagues and I'm going alright in them. And they're obviously season long. Let me know, people. Do I go for the cash? Do I go for season reputation and season rank? Because I know this is a bad move getting Marshall in. The bloke is going to be playing literally Wits and Gorn in the next couple of weeks after this. But I'm making 50k on TDK. Knowing this, though, I'm wasting another trade because he needs to get Gorn in. it would be either using other trades to get Gorn in and not even making that much on Rowan, potentially losing coin by the time he plays the two big boys, or committing to have him in the flex. Because Gorn's a must-have at the end of the day, isn't it? Let me know, guys. Should I just go like this? Should I keep TDK? Should I full send for Gorn? Should I boost and get Sard in as well? Or should I just full send this as well, add a bit to this just for the week, and get Tommy Green in or someone for the mini helmet, Caleb Daniel? So this was a bit of a trades video, a final trades video. I still don't know what the final trades are. It's a bit of an advice video in some ways. What I would say for those people that don't own Sherry and do have TDK, that are looking to move him on, I think that is absolutely the best move. Going early on Vicentini, again, I just think is extremely risky. Does Sweet smash it out of the park? Does Vicentini maybe not play up to scratch and they go, all right, Sweetie, you've learnt your lesson, back we go? Potentially. It's a risky play, it feels, wherever you tend to go. You know, getting too far behind the Gorn pack, that could be terrible. He could literally score a 180 again this week. And you're kicking yourself, thinking, I could have got him in, I could have boosted. You know, why do I hold on to Daniel? He gets another 70 against Richmond, and you're thinking, oh my goodness, I knew he's never going to be a keeper. Man, I wish I knew what to do. But that is it for now. This is most likely what I'm going to go through with as a 1 week play. But please, I don't advise you to get Rowan in. I'm not going to complete them yet. Man. I wish this was an easy game. Sometimes love it, sometimes you hate it. But thanks for watching, guys. All the best with your trade ins and your trade outs this week. If you haven't already, you can check out the stock market video. Got all the numbers on the most relevant players going into this week. The boys last night did the Thursday night live team drop. Answered all your questions as well. Got the pod if you haven't caught that, as well as the Q&A. And Rossco and I also sat down with Tommy from Game Day Squad. Check out their YouTube channel. Make sure that you do subscribe, sign up to them. Gave away some free packs, went through our squads for the week. I started with 2 pods in Noah Anderson and Carl Amon as bronze players in the starter squad, and they scored extremely well. So I think I'm maybe in with a very sneaky chance with weekly prize. Let's see how I go. So all the best, guys. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one. Cheers, bye.